What would a Pale Garden village look like in Minecraft 1.22? The brave villagers were sailing across the vast Minecraft oceans when they spotted something mysterious on the horizon. A new biome? And so they redirected their sails and ventured onwards. But as they drew nearer, the skies turned grey and everything turned eerily quiet. Still, they wandered deeper. They noticed everything here was grey. The grass, the moss, the trees. In fact, these trees are a new wood variant that they've never seen before. And there's these glowing hearts hiding inside them.
This is a much better place for our new home. So let's get to work, guys.
And so the villagers began in the town centre, the central meeting point of all the villagers. They could have created a simple design of a bell hanging on a tall pale oak fence. All villagers need bells, you know, in case of raids, and so this bell is rather accessible for those dire situations. But after that, the villagers would have begun expanding their paths outwards from that bell to create a plan of what their village would soon become. However, due to the difficulties of removing these large pale oak trees, it's possible that rather than a purely straight path, as is common in most other villages, they would have been forced to build more naturally shaped paths that bend around the environment. So cool, after a lot of planning and a lot of hard work, they've built the paths, and now have a semi-plan of the scale and positioning of their village. And so that means that they could now start building. Ideally, they would want something to match the environment of these pale gardens, and so to test out the ideal home within this new environment, the villagers might start out by building a unique, but large 4x4 base home. And then they could build it upwards towards the height of the leaves. Then they could build a curved roof to ensure the structural stability of this home during the rains that sometimes occur in this mysterious forest. Now, villagers don't really build 4x4 homes, and so this house seems a little too big and boxy. But to reduce that effect, the villagers might have tried building a side addition as an entrance into that house. And then on the interior, due to the larger house size, they might have split it up into 2 levels, a sleeping quarter below and a workspace above. Also, to reduce the flat, wide faces, they might have built flower beds by the side walls and included a few windows on each floor for greater depth and natural light. That was a nice fancy house for the villagers, but it's probably a little too big for their needs. So for their next home they might have constructed something a little more basic. Perhaps a 3x3 home like the common houses that we see in many other villages. There's nothing particularly special about that house, other than it was made from these brand new pale oak logs, but still, it's a practical home. And because of its efficiency, it will likely become one of the most common homes for this village. But before they can get into any expansion of all these new homes, they need to create a few more house varieties to avoid the village looking, well, repetitive. So another simple design that the villagers could have used are 2 small 3x3 houses fused into one to make one long house. And again, this home would have had a slanted roof that remained within the leaf level. Also, due to its spacious interior, it could be home for up to 4 villagers. But now the villagers probably need a proper big house for the village, a home that a lot of work could be done in. Unlike that 4x4 house, it would have to be home to multiple villagers. So perhaps a practical way to do that could be to create a large L-shaped home. This home, due to its larger size, may utilise more logs for structural support. Also, it would have that same slanted roof at the leaf level. There could also be flowers near the outside walls to break up the greys of this house. This home could be split into 3 sections. Work area A for like a fletching table, work area B for, you know, a cartography table, and sleep area C, an area for 2 beds and a chest. So 4 home variants should be more than enough for this small village. But wait, there are more than just houses within a village. There are also animal pens, which for this village may consist of just pale oak fences and some lanterns, as well as farms for crops, so that the villagers can actually feed their animals, and they can eat themselves. These farms may consist of stripped pale oak logs and 2 long rows of farmlands, as well as lanterns by the entrance and exits of the farm. And so with the base structures now complete, multiple copies can be built across the entire planned paths of the village. Maybe there could be 2 long houses, and 3 small houses, and a giant subscribe button house right by the town centre. 1 more tool house too, as well as 2 more farms, and 2 more animal pens. These are the structures that make this village a village. But still, the village wasn't complete just yet. They needed to build decorations and lights. This Pale Garden village is shaded by the thick leaves and overgrown canopies of the pale oak trees, so lots of light is going to be needed. But also, since it is near to Christmas time, and this biome is just so bright and happy, the lights used for their village could be large candy canes with lanterns on them. Ah, how festive. These could be spread across the entire festive village to brightly illuminate the land. But also, whilst building this village and collecting all the resources needed, the villagers encountered some of these strange glowing tree hearts. They just thought they looked cool, so they decided to make a few decorations out of them as well. And finally, the villagers might have added some fences in the more hillier areas to keep them safe. And so this is what the village may look like. What would the villagers of the Pale Gardens actually look like? Well, given the Christmassy time, they might have worn elf costumes, ready to work and produce presents for the world. But as the villagers spent more time in the Pale Gardens, they might have lost saturation and turned grey. They lost sleep and would have felt ill a lot of the time. They felt like something was watching them, but whenever they turned to look, there was only the pale forest. How weird. Still, it was a fun, festive village, perfect for celebrating the Christmas season. Christmas celebrations sure have changed a lot, haven't they? In fact, consider watching this video to learn how Christmas has changed in Minecraft over the years.